And there are so many Ugandans. I left there over 150 of them in custody. People who are serving, who have been kept without going through any court process. They have been detained, some of them up to a year. That is what is calling the fridge, if you want to know what the fridge is. So there are some people who are actually in the freezer, not in the fridge. And as a human rights issue, these people have no cases. Most of them, they've been kept there for political reasons.
Anyway, for those who just joined us, this is the JB Muwonge Talk Show, and these are the two Kenyans, that Njagi and Nicholas Oyoo, that have been updating you about. Of course, they were released. Government denied having them, the UPDF denied having them, the judiciary denied having them. Then Museveni came out to chest thumping as they were abducted and held in the fridge. Of course, they're speaking out what happened to them, how they were abducted, the questions that they were asked, and how they managed to get their temporary freedom. Of course, to kill this story, Museveni crafted the Indian Ocean saga. And you can witness from main media platforms, a number of them are shifting out from this story, and now they are concentrating on that saga of Indian Ocean. Of course, that is absolute nonsense. The essence was to kill this story because this is really a big issue. Two Kenyans being abducted in Uganda, held in incommunicado for 38 days. You know, that's a big issue, especially across the entire African continent, specifically in the East African region. So, to those who are following this story, don't be diverted with that Indian Ocean fake story, which was actually meant to, you know, it was like a cover-up for people not to give much attention to Njagi and Nicholas Oyoo's ordeal. Anyway, they're speaking out, and first here from them. Let's get here. Yeah.
And then the chronology of what happened thereafter.
Of course, wanagezako kunyonyola biki ebyabatuukako nangeri ki gye bawambibwamu na biki bina binanga we byale. Let's go.
We were trying to organize our vehicle because we had some tie-up issues. In fact, it started as we went to Kampala. We had to take a bit of some time because we had to organize the tires. Now, when we got to Mutuga, we found a Starbucks, and that is where our vehicle completely could not move further. So we decided to park it there and spend the night a bit, and then in the morning we got up to now deal with the tires. In fact, there were comrades of ours who were bringing those tires. So what happened is, when these people came, they first came with an advance team, I think of 2 people. So they were talking to him. So when I saw them, I knew it was the people of the tire, and I was the one who had those contacts. Yeah. So I joined him, and the moment I joined him, we just had police, and suddenly there was what they call the drone appeared. And the people who dropped from that vehicle, it was a sight that I've never seen in front of me. People fully armed to the teeth, and I think about 8, 7, or 6 people, very armed. And so they came and surrounded us and pushed us into the vehicles. For me now, it was an issue of, I think this must be something like that, of that nature. So it was like, can I throw my phone out of the vehicle? Because for me, it was like, we need something that somebody can use to maybe call people and tell people. So what happened is, I tried to throw it out, but I realized that I couldn't. But that then excited them into, I think it made them feel like I'm hiding another phone. So they started to attack me in the vehicle. But after some time, they realized I was telling them the truth, I don't have another phone. So that is how we started moving, quietly, by the way, all the way. Nobody speaks. They speak among themselves, sometimes in signs, that kind of stuff. Sometimes a bit of Kiswahili, but a lot of Luganda. So we couldn't make up what they're really saying. But at that moment, we had another person we were 3 of us in that petrol station. So one of the other person entered the vehicle with us. They had grabbed the 3 of us. Then from I think it's a miracle of some sort, Bob said that we have not locked the car. So they said, who has the key? Who has the key? And it was him who had the key. So he just dropped like that, and I saw them look at Those, I think they had a phone there.
Yeah.
They looked at it and they looked at me like this straight. Then they looked again and looked at Bob straight like this. And that guy just said, let's go.
So was
and
the
that
third...
is how that person was left,
Okay.
Kofi. Yeah.
So was the third person part of you, or he was an innocent bystander?
He was part of us. We were with him in that trip. And that's how we managed to live with two people and leaving one person. I think
Kenyan?
that helped us too. Yeah, Kenyan.
Or Ugandan?
Kenyan. Yeah. We even had another Ugandan.
Would you mind sharing his name?
It's called Kofi Atandi. Kofi Atandi. That's his name, yeah. So Kofi was left, and I think that probably was something that...
Okay.
Yeah. Bob.
Mwena ndoza mujukira Bobby Atandi. Yajja na breaking amawulire gano. Namala na escapinga back to Nairobi. Na ulunalio kabeera n'obuvumu obwogerako eri bannamawulire nabawa update eyo.
Then, did you not foresee danger when you attended the manifesto launch of Bobi Wine Kyagulanyi, given the rough times he had with the authorities in Uganda and what he went through with his family as well?
I did not think it would be such a bad thing because I did not speak at the rally. Neither was I wearing the clothes or regalia for the opposition. I was there to participate by just listening to what the people of Uganda want for their livelihoods. I have seen Martha Karua going to Uganda to fight for Dr. Kiza Besigye in court. That is activism. That is solidarity. How come she's not abducted? I have seen our President Ruto going to campaign for the President Museveni.
Yes, actually, Ruto has been here in Uganda campaigning for Museveni, and no one touched him. Of course, it is illegal when Kenyans show solidarity with the opposition in Uganda. But it is okay for a person like Ruto to come to Uganda and campaign for Museveni. Isn't that criminality? Isn't that double standards? Isn't that, okubeera tebagoberera mateeka?
Why isn't it questioned whether he's supporting a person from the other team? Why is it a problem that why are we a threat to them as such? It shows that the regime of President Museveni is very afraid of the awakening of young people in Uganda, because we represent a majority of the young people in Kenya in terms of the issues we stand for. If you look at the finance bill, my abduction was as a result of the finance bill in 2024, which we joined hands as Kenyans to say no to an oppressive bill, which up to today, the parliamentarians are still following the same suit.
Yeah.
And I think this is a threat even for Museveni, because he thinks that we might introduce the same kind of patriotism towards defending the constitution in Uganda.
Yes, actually, that's why Museveni, when he was chest thumping that, yes, we abducted them, he added something. He said, they are experts at rioting. In brief, they had come to Uganda to teach Ugandans how to riot.
As it is in Kenya. I think that was why they are really afraid of us being able to have this kind of influence on the people. But I believe that even as we speak, 80% of Ugandans are the youth, and time for change is coming. It's actually here.
It's coming.
Okay. So next we'll now talk about where you were taken. And you have also named General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. So we'll talk more about that and where you were held, the state of your affairs at the time, who you were held with, and how you were released, who you were in touch with, and the interventions made by the Kenyan High Commission in Uganda. We'll hog now. I was on you, Bob, when you had given us the elaborate of what happened, very elaborate with what happened when you guys were picked up. So did you speak at the manifesto launch of Robert Kyagulanyi?
I did not speak, because when we got to the podium, The rally was ongoing, and Robert Chagulanyi was actually delivering his maiden speech of the manifesto. And soon after that speech was over, the rally had ended. So we got to engage at that point. I stood up to celebrate with him as he was ending his speech. But I did not see the need to speak at the point because I came there to listen to the manifesto, not to speak, but to listen.
Okay.
Yeah, so unfortunately thereafter is when we were abducted the following morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
And after the abduction, Bob, still on you, where were you taken?
We were driven to a military base, a military camp outside Kampala city. It's called Serakasenyi Military Training Camp.
Serakasenyi Military Training Camp.
This is a camp that is used specifically to train the Special Forces Command, who
Yeah, this is very important, and this is a very important submission from Bob Njagi. Now, that's where, of course, when we're not paying the attention of Lunje,
normally are responsible for the security and safety of the first family. So this is their training base where they normally do their practices. And we were being held in cells within that training camp alongside other foreign nationals such as Nigerians. There was one person also holding a South African passport and quite a number of Ugandan citizens, civilians actually, were still being held in the same camp. This again is the constitution of Uganda, which states that civilians should not be held or prosecuted in a military base. So our detention was actually an illegal detention. We have undergone torture. We've undergone dehumanization in terms of being denied the right to speak to anyone, the right to associate freely, even the right to food was denied at times.
Right to movement.
Yeah, and the right to movement. All these are violations of human rights which constitute crimes against humanity.
Anyway, let me expound more about the SFC, that's the Special Forces Command. That militia group actually has been operating illegally. It was operating outside of the constitution for the past years since it was established. Of course, it is just attached to the first family until of recent, actually this same year, when they introduced an amendment in the Uganda People's Defense Forces Act. And now it is legal. Yeah, it was operating illegally until of recent when it was legalized. And its purpose, just like Bob explained, is attached only on the first family, guarding it, taking care of it, and all that kind of thing, and also snatching whoever appears to be a threat to the first family. Of course, just like Bob is going to expound more later on, but I just wanted to pitch in and also add some info about the Special Forces Command.
Okay, and Nick.
Yeah.
More, of course, will be in the details of your state at the time when you were held in detention. How did you know General Muhoozi Kainerugaba?
Is somebody we hear those issues about Uganda, but for us now in this case, we didn't know who is really involved, but we knew Special Forces and who is in command of Special Forces. But we were to confirm when we came out and you heard the president speak and Muhoozi speak. So that's when we realized that this was top at the top.
Yeah.
This was right at the top.
And then the question begs, why did you name him? Were you interrogated in his name, or did you hear his name?
They never mentioned him to me, but this is a military camp. He is the head of military. Surely he should know what's happening in his camp.
He hosted a meeting on the 20th of October, Mashujaa Day, at the camp. He was present. We got information, we got intelligence from the people who are also prisoners in there. We have military persons who are in prison in the same camp, over 150 of them. They're the ones who cook the food, clean the place, so they bring us food. And some of them would whisper some information. And we got to hear that on the 20th of October, he
met with the senior military officials at the camp. And following that meeting, we were transferred on the 23rd to another location, which is a safe house from outside the military camp, but still within the hands of the military. This is a house where they normally keep people within the civilian population. The house is located within an estate, so you have neighbors. They don't know what's happening in that particular house because the house has tinted windows. The gate is always closed, nobody coming in or out. You're kept in the rooms without moving, so nobody can see there's people in that house. That's why we stayed for 14 days before our release.
And the previous 24 days?
In the Serakasenyi military
days.
camp. 23 days there and 14 days in the safe house.
And so the whispers, were they very specific with the details of what Kainerugaba had instructed or directed?
They were not really specific on that person who was instructed, but you can tell the kind of atmosphere in that place. And that tells you that this is a serious engagement around the military. Because even the kind of things that they do there, you get bombs being thrown there because they're training. They're training, you hear guns and those kinds of formations they do. And of course, the bombs, the RPGs, very heavy bombs, you hear them. And sometimes you wake up and those are the things that wake you up.
From the inmates, the military prisoners that were in there, confessed that they are victims of General Muhoozi, in that he perceives them to be enemies, or rather his enemies according to his succession plan. So most of the people who were there were friends of their father, and they're being kept there because of transition politics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So in the press statement today, you talked of torture.
Yep.
Elaborate further. How were you tortured? What was a daily life being in there for the first 24 days, and thereafter the last 14 days, which comes up to the total 38 days?
On the first time that we got there, the second day, we were called for interrogation. And so when they interrogate you, they've already opened your phone. So they are looking at your phone and asking you questions, specific questions about groups you are in. And you know, like me, being in politics and all this kind of activism, there are groups that you will find there, a lot of groups, a lot of things. So they begin to ask you those.
That's on WhatsApp?
Sometimes they want to ask you about the admin of those groups. Some of these groups you find yourself in. You don't even know who added you into these groups.
Actually, Nicholas Oyoo is very right. As an activist and a formidable activist, you find your contact in almost any group that, of course, pushing for the same cause as you're pushing. Like any group, a comrade will just add you without even getting permission from you.
But you find they're trying to now push you to say something. So when they think that you've not said what they think they should hear, then they start caning, sometimes punching, those kind of stuff.
Yeah, in caning, further. Okay, explain it further for our viewers. For how long, how many times in a day, who would do that?
That was, me, I was caned twice. That was, there are 2 interrogations. So the first interrogation on the second day, they called me out, took me to a room somewhere, and started asking me about those things on my WhatsApp. So they're trying to like push towards some narrative of some sort. And when they think that I've not said the right things, seems like I'm hiding something or anything, they just put me, you know, we have those these handcuffs. They take my handcuff and tie it on to some of the chair, and they start, there's some sticks they have there. So those are things they're using to cane us. Yeah.
And Bob, in the course of that period, what exactly did your captors wanted to know, or to establish?
I think they had been given wrong intelligence by whoever fed them with intelligence, thinking that we were there on a mission to mobilize young people or the youths, to to go to protest or such kind of activities, which I think they were totally misinformed. They went through our phones and they've had 38 days of doing investigations, but they have not taken us to court to charge us with any crime until today. I mean, if we had been participating in any illegal activities, I'm sure the government of Uganda would have charged us in court. But since they saw that this is an exercise in futility, that they are just arresting innocent Kenyans, and they have no ground to do so, so that's why they kept us for so long, only to release us when the pressure was building from different quarters. And at that point, I'd like to give a shout out to all Kenyans who came out in large numbers to support us. And I would wish to just state the family of Nicholas Oyoo, the mother, the siblings, Opeto, Elsie Oyoo, Bento Cheng, you know yourselves, the family of Ida Odinga, who's a relative to, who's related to Nick. From Ida Odinga herself, she made a lot of efforts to reach out to the Foreign Affairs Minister to call for our release. We've had leaders like Martha Karua, who are tweeting every day, and Uhuru Kenyatta, who spoke to the Mhozi himself, as per what the rumor says. I can't fail to mention the diaspora community from the US. We have
bloggers.
The bloggers, online bloggers. Human rights organizations have been there from the beginning. Amnesty International, Vocal Africa, KHRC, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the Defenders Coalition, the Kenyan Embassy in Uganda. The ambassador was very gracious to escort us back to freedom.
Mr. Josh Mangi.
Mr. Josh Mangi. He went out of his way because the military had refused to kind of loosen the hold on us. So we still had the hooded masks on from our point of captivity all the way towards past Kampala city. But when the ambassador came in, he actually ordered them to free us from that captivity. And he was gracious enough to even offer us dinner at one of the restaurants on our way back to Busia. That was about a 4-hour trip in the military convoy. When we got to Kenya, I can't again forget to appreciate the county commissioner of Busia. It's called Mchanga Mwachaunga, a perfect gentleman who processed us. We had issues with our immigration because we had been flagged, red flagged, so that we cannot cross the border back. And it took almost 2-3 hours to clear that red flag from our passports so that we can be cleared back into Kenya legally. And from then on, handed it over to the security team in Kenya. The county commander, the AP commandant, the NIS were there to receive us, and we were well treated. We were taken to Busia County Referral Hospital for preliminary tests, and thereafter taken back to Busia County Police Station, where we were released back to the family. So I wish to thank these individuals within the government who took an extra caution to welcome us back, though we also say that 38 days was too long for Kenyans to be kept. If only the government had spoken out sooner, we don't need to have gone through all that fiasco.
Actually, the government of Ruto was silent for the past 38 days until Uhuru Kenyatta intervened, and of course we can see these two out. But I wonder why they would be silent for that long. Anyway, maybe you have any thought, and we can meet in the comment section and you share that thought.
But again, I think the reason we went there is for us to witness the kind of violations happening in Uganda. And I appeal on this platform to the Ugandan leaders to free all political prisoners, including Dr. Kizza Besigye, and the Ugandan civilians we left behind. One of them is a brother to the Internal Affairs Minister for Uganda. His own brother was abducted. He was my cellmate. He's called Amos Ruongomano. They're looking for him. They don't know where he is. And the current location, the last location, is a place called Ronyo, a center called Ronyo. That's where we were being held. I hope he can use this information to secure the remaining of the people who are inside, including Nigerian nationals. The Nigerian embassy as well needs to take more concern about their own citizens who are rotting in that Serakasenyi place.
Okay.
Yes.
So
now, This information is very, very, very useful. And actually, just like I told you when I was starting this show, in order to silence this ordeal, in order to kill this story, Museveni and his team had to craft something to do with the Indian Ocean. And you can see it in the media. Some have already been diverted from this story, and then they have jumped to the Indian Ocean story. But to be sincere, and for the matter of fact, that story was crafted specifically to kill the ordeal of Bobo Njagi and Nicholas Oyoo. This message has to be amplified beyond East African borders. This message has to be amplified beyond Kenya, beyond Uganda, beyond Tanzania, beyond Africa.
Let's come back to Sarah, because we will at length talk about the release and where exactly Mr. Joash Mangi, who is the head of the commission in Uganda, met you guys. But Nick, were you able to see anything in that military camp? And if yes, what were they?
The military camp, first of all, it's like some houses actually. They were not cells actually. They were not designed as cells. They were designed as houses for those soldiers. So when we came in, I think that is when they turned them into holding houses. Because now they put us in there. I found a Nigerian already in. He also found a Nigerian in. The person I was with is called John Alex Egbo. And he had been there one day. But he told me that he had been arrested earlier and even tortured. He even had marks. So when we got there, you could, first of all, it was not completely finished. It was a house that basically did not have windows and was a frame that was still being painted. We even had to be moved for it to be painted. And you could see outside the place, and you could see at least the soldiers doing some of the work that they are doing there, and all that kind of stuff. So we could have some time that they could come and talk to us. Some of them would give you chilling issues. Asked, like somebody was telling me, that as a special forces, for them they shoot to kill. And he was telling me that if you have 5 bullets, the report is going to be, how many people have you used the bullet on? And can they be found dead? Or if you did not kill them, then you injured them. So he was telling me they shoot from here all the way up. So those kinds of things are like scaring you to get you into a situation. Yeah.
Yes, Bob.
One shocking revelation is that when we got there in the first week, there are some soldiers who came to reveal to me that they participated in the Gen Z protest in Kenya, that they were actually moved from Uganda as military, dressed in Kenyan police uniform, to come and quell the riots in Kenya. So these are army officers who are, and that's why we are saying that this collaboration is a collaboration between states. That's why you're seeing what is happening in Kenya resonating in Uganda, resonating in Tanzania. And that's why we are coming out boldly to speak out against these violations of human rights across East Africa. So far that we're saying on the 9th of December, we shall be joining Tanzanians in the protest to call for justice for all the victims, both who have died in Tanzania, Kenyans and Tanzanians, and to call out this illegitimate government that is coming up now as an elected government. But we all know that the president swore herself in using the military. So this continued collaboration between the 3 states, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, to oppress the citizens. You see, foreign nationals have been abducted in Kenya, being taken to Uganda. Again, the same happens, abductions in Kenya to Ethiopia. Now we are seeing abductions in Tanzania, Boniface Mwangi, happening again. So we as a people now must say enough is enough. And we are calling on the Kenyans to join hands in solidarity with the Tanzanians so that we are not divided by this, but actually this brings us together.
It's going to be on the 9th of December, and they are calling for a total shutdown of the entire East African, the original states, that's Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Did you hear that? Ugandan soldiers found or participating in the protest that was going on in Kenya. Buli naku tuyibagamba nti omusajja ono abantu bakozesa wano mu kwekalakaasa tebabeera bannansi kyolabanga n'olimi babeera tebalutegeera. Kyekimu kye bakola ne Kenya, kyekimu kye bakola ne Tanzania. Owulira emiranga abatanzania gye bakaaba, ababakubye amasasi, ababashootinze down, abasinga tebabadde Batanzania. Bahalinge kuva eno mu Uganda. Bw'atyo Museveni bw'atambuza empisa ze n'azitwala mu Tanzania, n'azitwala mu Kenya. Wano waffe of course kiri waasi nnyo naye tekisobola butaggwa.
Okay, so that is in preparation for Tanzania, what you're talking about.
Correct.
But let's talk about then how your release happened. And at that time, were you conscious? And how were you driven back to the point that you met Mr. Joash Mange?
First, we were transferred from Kasenyi to that safe house, and that was harrowing because you see, you are blindfolded, you don't know where you are going. There's only 3 places you can go to. It's either transfer, a release, or probably the other thing. Yeah, so it's a question of just waiting, and then we are taken in there, and after 14 days, they just come and pick us and put us in their vehicles, and we started moving towards, now you're blindfolded. So we also don't know, again, if it's another transfer or release. But then now we are hoping for the best. We are thinking that this is so many days, maybe something needs to be happening. I was getting information from somebody who, when we were transferred, he was brought from outside. So that's at least painted a picture that there is a lot of clamor for us.
What did he tell you?
He was telling me about the issues that were discussed in Parliament, which actually made me realize that being transferred was actually because they were hiding us from an inquiry that was supposed to happen in Kasenyi. So it was like this thing had been mentioned in Parliament, and they were coming to inquire at Kasenyi. So we were removed at 6 o'clock in the morning, transferred to this safe house, and then after 2 weeks, now the release. So
now I believe those are the days during the habeas corpus application that was filed by Ugandan lawyers, of course, to force the state produce these 2 in court, dead or alive. Yeah, for those who have been following us about this case, I'm very sure you are in the know of all those updates during a time when the habeas corpus application was finally dismissed by court after the Uganda People's Defense Force wrote back to court informing it not having these 2 in their custody, that they have done a thorough search across all detention centers, and they didn't find anyone in the name Bob and Nicholas. I'm sure you remember.
As we moved towards the border, we are hooded, and we don't know where we are going, but it looks like they are a bit relaxed on us for a while, and they take us all the way to Kampala. I think it was outside Kampala, some depot that is a military depot of some sort. We could hear them do fuel and those kind of stuff, transfer vehicles. I think we transferred twice. And then we ended up hearing that you are going to speak to your mkubwa wenyu. Mtaongelesha mkubwa wenyu. So we are wondering, what do you mean by mkubwa wetu? Then after some time he comes and says, the ambassador is going to talk to you. So we thought that, in fact, it is like, we are not sure how the state in Kenya would react to us. But he came in, and it was very cordial, and for us it was like, in fact, saved us from a lot, because 5 minutes before those vehicles came in, that is when the hoods were removed. It's like they didn't want him to see. But we suspect that they wanted to take us all the way to Busia in the hoods and deal with us for the last time. You know, for those people, sometimes this is a spot that they have. So yeah.
So, Bob, Mr. Joash Mange visited you in a facility.
Yeah, he came to a point where the cars had stopped, and we were told that there's somebody coming to talk to you. So we thought he would talk to us, then we continue going with this team of military officers. But when he saw us, he insisted that he has to accompany the convoy himself to Busia border. And so we had the military lead vehicle, a Land Cruiser, with the military guys armed. And then we had vehicle for the ambassador and the head of the high chief commissioner.
It's like as if they were transporting criminals, you know. It's like I believe you guys watching this video, you can visualize what Bob Njagi is communicating.
Two vehicles and the drone which we are in. So we traveled in this way all the way to Busia at night. From about 1 a.m. we got to, actually 12 p.m. we got to Busia around 2:33 in the morning. Then we had to clear with the immigrations for an hour. By 4, we had to go again to hospital, Busia County Hospital, referral. By 5, 6, we were back in the police station, and then we were united with our families, one of our family members. And from there now we had to drive by road again from Busia to Kisumu, where we got a flight to Nairobi to meet now our comrades as we have been welcomed in Nairobi. Yeah.
And you mentioned you had a dinner with the Mr. Mangi.
Yes.
And he explained how he knew you guys were there, who was in touch with him.
Yes.
And basically, alijuaje mko hapo?
He had been communicating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Uganda. As an ambassador of Kenya to Uganda, I think it's his responsibility. He explained to us that whatever efforts they had been doing, they were doing them quietly so as not to let out any information out. And apparently, he had been in touch with the ministry a number of times, and they had assured him of our release, but they had not told him when. Until when we were being released is when they, I think, contacted that office, and together they planned how he would be part of the team that delivers us back to Kenya. That's what he explained to us was his role, which...
Now I understand the silence from the Kenyan embassy in Uganda after an explanation from Bob. Remember, we've been, of course, castigating these two. Why the silence is too much. The silence was too much from both camps. But Bob's explanation clears it.
I must congratulate him for doing a good job as an ambassador. Yes.
Yeah. And Nick, were you in touch with anyone?
We were incommunicado all through that time. They took our phones, and in fact, we were not supposed to even have any information. But some of these askaris were becoming friendly because some of them, like I found out that my name Oyoo is also a lot in Uganda. So it's like some people wanted to meet this person. And when we lost the former prime minister, somebody came and whispered to me. I didn't believe it at first, but then another person again came and said the same. So I began to think this could be real. And then a third person came, and it was me who informed him. Yeah. You know, in Kasenyi, there is a latrine. So this latrine and the bathroom, we usually have time to come out and go, one person at a time. So sometimes he can come and pass through where I am as he goes straight to the latrine. The latrine is directly adjacent to me, but for him it's a bit further. But now we had devised a way that he can come in, and while he's passing there, he can say a few things in Sheng, because a lot of that they won't understand. So that's when I informed him that, you know, we've lost Raila Odinga. And that one, he almost broke our code, because he went and came again and went and, you know, like he did not really believe it at first.
Yeah.
So I could get some of those snippets.
Yeah. And were you offered food?
We ate, the meal that was there was basically one recipe. It is posho, which is here ugali, but this is a different one. It's a bit softer grade. So this is posho and beans. And so they bring it twice a day, and then you get porridge in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah.
And Bobby, you did not eat for 14 days. How did that happen? Was it hunger strike or?
Okay, first and foremost, just because he has mentioned the name of a great man, Right Honorable Prime Minister, rest in peace.
I'm going to take you back. You guys, that's why I won't forget to remind you about that fake story crafted by Museveni and his team about the Indian Ocean. That story was specifically crafted to cover this a big story of Bobo Njagi and Oyoo, speaking out about how they were abducted in Uganda on the 1st of October, how it all started, how it went, how they were held in incommunicado for 38 days, how they were released, and all that information the world has been waiting to hear. And boom, after they are released, then Museveni comes out to chest a thumping about how they were held, held in the fridge and all that kind of thing. Boom, then they drop the Indian Ocean saga story, which is absolute nonsense. Techina kyekiyinza kugattako, tekina kyekiyinza kukyusa. Like of course bali mu kulota, bali mu bintundu bitaliimu kugezaako kubikkirira story eno. Barange, don't be diverted about this. This message had to be amplified, it has to be aired, it has to be relayed on all major platforms, both in Kenya as well as in Uganda.
This was one of my mentors.
And the beans. And so they bring it twice a day, and then you get porridge in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah.
And Bobby, you did not eat for 14 days. How did that happen? Was it hunger strike or?
Okay, first and foremost, just because he has mentioned the name of a great man, Right Honorable Prime Minister, rest in peace. This was one of my mentors back in ODM, and it was very unfortunate to lose him, especially at this time when he was doing so much to keep a balance in the country.
Yeah.
And therefore, I say to the family, poleni sana. We were not there, but we shall come to pay our respects. You had asked about our food.
14 days.
14 days, yes. I opted to start fasting on the 25th of October because I realized that they were using food as a weapon for us. They would sometimes not put sugar in the porridge so that you ask for sugar. And so therefore I said, let me deny myself of all this so that I can be able to focus on prayers, because sometimes we need spiritual intervention in some kind of situations. There are many people who are in there, had spent over 6 months, 5 months, and they told us, you guys, the earliest you'll be out is after the Ugandan elections.
That is 2026.
Yes, 2026. And we could see the reality. There was no sign of us getting out. The military has denied they're with us. The police don't know where we are. The judiciary has had a habeas corpus, which has been dismissed in court.
Yeah.
So all factors lead that to a point that you're not going to be released soon. And then I turned on to prayer and fasting, and that works miracles as well. We are here with you, and I thank God, above all, I thank God for us being here.
And Nick, given the experiences that you have had, and this is a trend across East Africa, and you guys have had your tour, Bob still on you. The last time you were held in captivity in Kenya, released after more than a month. Do you compare the state of interrogation where you are kept in Kenya, your condition in Kenya and in Uganda?
In Kenya was worse. I'd rather in Uganda because of many things. In Kenya was a serious abduction. Nothing compared to what I went through. Even these 38 days was not comparable to Kenya. Yeah, because in Kenya it was complete incommunicado. The windows were sealed, total darkness. At least I could see light in this other place. I could walk to the toilet in this other place. I think we are actually are the ones exporting these abductions now to Uganda. We are perfecting them. If we're learning from them, we're learning very fast. And these are human rights violations which we shall continue to fight, Ayub. But more importantly, we are moving away from protest into now power. We are organizing ourselves as an alternative leadership in this country. I myself will be vying for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya come 2027, August, and they should be prepared for a serious battle. In our cadres, we have governors, people who are vying for governorship. We have senatorial aspirants. We have members of parliament, most of whom are young people, Gen Zs, the women, the persons with disabilities. We are pushing these cadres of people to take over leadership of this country. and to serve.
Now I understand why Ruto didn't even get any interest in stepping in, calling for the release of these two.
Salvage this country from where it is today, to put it back on a path of a serious development. We have seen in Burkina Faso what young people can do. Within 2 years, they have changed the economic status of their people just by leveraging on the land resources, cutting down on corruption and government spending. We don't need rocket scientists to come and change this country. We have enough young leaders who are ready to lead. And so we ask Kenyans to join the Free Kenya movement, the People Power movement, as an alternative voice of the people. And we are ready to move this a step higher towards liberating this country.
Okay. And Nick, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has described you two as experts in riots. Are you?
I think if he says riot, Ayub, we've done a number of petitions. In fact, for us, when we started to feel the conclusion that this was a coalition between these people, is because the timeline. In October, we had, I think, 4 cases coming up. Petition E160 of 2022, petition E100, I think 050 of 2025, petition 122 of 2023, and there is another petition in Court of Appeal where we are saying that a stay that was done by IBC, which they've never appealed, to be lifted. So those 4 cases came in October. We lost that time. We are suspecting that that was one of the pushes because we had pushed IBC. In fact, we had petitioned IBC on the 1st of September. They replied to our petition. Unfortunately, by the time they grabbed us, we were supposed to now follow up on that reply. So we feel that this matter had something. It's like they were stopping us from pushing what we had said, that the independent candidates should participate equally. So we've come back and we found that a number of places we didn't get independent candidates because it happens that they restricted them using the stay of execution. So we think that this is a matter that they are doing to make sure that they restrict the independent candidates. They don't like people who can think independently. And that is what Free Kenya pushes.
Yeah.
I think to answer to your question, when he says that we are experts in riots, perhaps they want to turn that picture negatively. Kenyans have Article 37, the right to peaceably protest, okay? And when we have to use such means, we shall deploy them. Just like we are calling on Kenyans to come together on 9th of December to use Article 37. Otherwise, protests in themselves are not an end in themselves. It's a means to an end. It's an agitation by the people. When we were protesting in 2024, it's millions of Kenyans who came out, young people. So unless they're saying all Kenyans are experts in riots. And let me tell you one thing, protest is what gave birth even to the new constitution. We cannot underestimate the power of protest. In the most developed countries today, US, UK, they're having protests on a daily basis. As long as you're protesting for your rights, it is not bad. Yeah. If they don't want there to be protests, let them follow the rule of law.
Even them in Uganda, they had to use the bush to get this country. So really when somebody says this, it's like they're forgetting somebody who doesn't see their past, because even them, they had these issues.
Yeah. Yeah. But Bob, whilst you have mentioned the freedoms that our constitution envisions, have you guys studied the Ugandan law, and to be specific, what it says about picketing and organizing demonstrations?
First, Ayub, we are not organizing demonstrations in Uganda. Ugandans have the right to organize their demonstrations. They've not called for us to go and help them. For us, it feels like it's like showing Ugandans as people who don't know what they need to do. Yeah. They would organize what they want to do. We did not go to Tanzania to help them. We were in the fridge. So if anybody calling for experts, then we should have been there to help Tanzanians to organize. So really, it's just a matter of somebody finding a way to create words and color you bad and make you look like you're something else. But the reality of the fact is protests happen across the country. Even Uganda is a country in this world. It probably would happen if the conditions are the way they are.
Okay. When we get back from the break, Bob.
All right, now That has been Bob and Oyoo. I'm not going to go far from here. I'm just going to as well sign out. I'll come back with the next part because the story is too long. Of course, the third. This has been Citizen TV Kenya. It uploaded the 3 parts, part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this entire ordeal of Bob and the Oyoo. Of course, speaking out about what happened when they were abducted in Uganda, the 1st of October, and the 38 days they spent in incommunicado detention. This is the story, of course, that the Museveni regime is trying as much as possible to silence using the Indian Ocean saga story and that kind of thing. We need to see through that, and we go ahead to amplify this abduction. Kiyamba bangi nnyo, oyinza obutakiraba naye nga ge mazima. Omusajja yazaawo nayogerayogera ebibozibozi mbu twetaaga Indian Ocean and all that kind of thing. Of course byonna biri specifically meant ku silencinga mawulire gano amawulire gamusigira ddala etosi. Emwanda bwanika yamukutte n'avaayo n'abyogera n'agamba nti nno twabawamba by experts simanyi riots, and now we kept them in the fridge and all that kind of thing. Kati agagana kiriza lekayo ekyo kyamulya tasobola kitekinga back. You know, these lips, the mouth, once anything escapes from these lips, it can never be taken back. It's like a glass. Once it's broken, you can never rejoin those pieces together. So from 7 coming out to chest thumping as these 2 Kenyans were abducted in Uganda, held in the fridge because of so and so, coming to Bobby Wine, blah 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 blah. There is no way those words can be taken back. The only way is to craft another story the media can jump on and of course forget about the abduction and all that kind of thing. But of course some of us know all those tricks because we've been here for some good time, and at least we can read beyond their actions and words. Now that has been Bob and the Oyoo. I'll come back next time. This is the JB Mungu Talk Show. If you're not yet a member of this platform, this is our official channel. Turn on the notification alert after subscribing so that next time you don't miss out anything. Of course, we cover stories in the socio-economic and political aspect, specifically East African, more so Uganda. Bye-bye.